The conflict between heaven and hell serves as the backdrop for the narrative in the video game Diablo. It is up to the player to save the town of Tristram, which is currently being assaulted by hordes of demons that have emerged from beneath the crumbling ruins of the Tristram Cathedral. The player learns more about the demon Diablo, who is residing in the final level of hell, which lies even further beyond, through large tomes that are found throughout the levels of the game. These tomes can be found in a network of labyrinths that are found within the dungeons, as well as later on in the catacombs that are found beneath them, which are then followed by the caves that are located even further down. The player will eventually enter Diablo's lair and be tasked with eliminating him from the game. Diablo, a tremendously potent demon, is the Lord of Terror and one of the three prime evils of hell. He was imprisoned within a soul stone and buried in the caverns deep beneath the town of Tristram centuries ago by ancient people known as the Horadrim. Diablo has been freed from his prison and is one of the three primal evils of hell. Diablo labored relentlessly to corrupt the soul stone and eventually overpowered his imprisonment, despite the fact that his confinement was intended to last for all of eternity. Archbishop Lazarus, who had been manipulated into becoming Diablo's obedient servant, provided assistance to Diablo. Diablo was able to use his assistance to his advantage, yet, for Diablo to truly present himself in the realm of the living, he required a mortal vessel in which to house his spirit. The first target that Diablo attempted to possess was King Leoric, the local ruler of Tristram. Nevertheless, Diablo was unable to fully take control of the king due to both his weakened status and the strong will of the king. As a result, the devil deserted the king, which led to the king losing his mind and becoming increasingly irrational. After that, Lazarus abducts Prince Albrecht, who is the younger son of King Leoric. He takes him to a remote area of the catacombs and places the demon soulstone in the prince's forehead there. Because of this, Diablo was able to control the prince and warp him, which ultimately led to him acquiring material form. Diablo may have a body now, but he is far from his ultimate power, so he is biding his time and summoning uncountable legions of demons, which are infesting the entire underground complex and gradually converting the territory into an outpost of hell. The crazed King Leoric points the finger of blame to the citizens of Tristram for the kidnapping of Albrecht and orders the execution of many individuals. His devoted knights attempt to calm him down, but they are ultimately compelled to put an end to his life because his insane monarch has fully lost his mind. His last words are a dreadful curse that damns the knights into unholy service until the end of their days. While this was going on, Lazarus emerged from the catacombs and gathered the people of the town, bringing them further into the tunnel so that they might rescue the prince. This turns out to be a snare instead. Lazarus entices them and brings them to the lair of the butcher. Demons end up killing a significant portion of the populace of the town. Then Lazarus flees further into the underground dungeon. While the Lord of Terror regains his power at the very center of the labyrinth and prepares, he bides his time, waiting for the moment when he would once again emerge to seek out his brothers, Baal and Mephisto, and release them as well. Demons begin to appear in the countryside during this time. It appeared that just a short amount of time would pass before the three prime evils achieve reign over the entirety of the mortal universe. This is where the main character, the protagonist, enters the story. As the player makes their way through the dungeon's 16 levels in pursuit of Diablo, they will come across a wide variety of enemies, missions, tomes, scrolls, weapons, and other treasures along the way. At the conclusion of the game, the hero destroys Diablo by removing the soul stone from his brain, being that of Prince Albrecht, that is. The player is taken aback when Diablo begins to disintegrate, exposing the dead body of the Prince Albrecht beneath him. After that, the hero stabs himself in the skull with the soul stone in an effort to capture the Lord of Terror himself inside of them. Yet, the final moments of the game provide hints of a more sinister conclusion at the climactic scene. The protagonist can be seen dressed in a mysterious cloak with a hood over his head. The parting sentences leave the reader with a sense of dread. Hellfire consumes the soul stone, and a spooky crimson glow obfuscates the eyesight when it does so. You feel as though fresh blood is flowing into your eyes, and you start to pick up on the agonized mutterings of those who had been damned. You have completed the task that you were aware needed to be completed. The core of Diablo has been captured, at least for the time being. You send up a prayer, hoping that you have become powerful enough to withstand the demon's assault and hold him at bay. While you have been fortified by your mission, you can still sense him, clawing his way from up the dark corners of your soul. While you struggle to maintain your mastery of the situation, your thoughts wander to the mysterious and distant lands of the Far East. Perhaps there, beyond the bleak deserts of Aranok, you will find an answer, or even salvation. And that is the story of Diablo I. Thank you for listening, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.